Continuing on with the quest to broaden my horizons of anime, I was quickly met with the question, to watch Keion or not? Obviously Keion has gotten a lot of hate and a lot of praise, enough to turn me off from watching it for a very long time. But I'm ready now, and I'm glad I waited to avoid the yelling on both sides. So with this review, I went in with no expectations whatsoever. I was a blank slate, ready to be filled with anime. Yeah, I just said that. And surprisingly enough, I found a very enjoyable and fun anime series. But there were some things about it where I can see on both sides why people would either love or hate it. So with that being said, keep an open mind, and let's review the 2009 anime series, Keion. Keion was released in April of 2009 by Kyoto Animation, which are known for hits like the excellent Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, Clannad, Chunibyo, which I have a review up for on my channel, Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, which I also reviewed recently as well, one of my favorite anime of 2016, Sound Euphonium. Also, I reviewed that, so yeah, I like Kyoto Animation, but really you can't blame anyone for not liking them. They create a lot of visually and comically entertaining series going back to the 90s. Kyoto are at this point known for creating slice of life anime, as that is their bread and butter currently. And with this direction, they've been able to create genuinely interesting series like Chunibyo, Sound Euphonium, and Dragon Maid. As for the director of Keion, well, we have a lot. Like, a lot. Basically, this series is a who's who of directors, and I honestly don't know how this series turned out so well with there being, like, 10 directors. So with that, I have to give credit to the producers Yoko Hara and Shinichi Nakamura for really keeping the show together.
Sis, come on. You better get out of bed. Sis? It's 8! I'm late! Hey, why the rush?
Hirasawa Yui, a young carefree girl entering high school, has her imagination instantly captured when she sees a poster advertising the Light Music Club. Being the carefree girl that she is, she quickly signs up. However, Yui has a problem. She is unable to play an instrument. When Yui goes to the club room to explain, she's greeted by the other members, Ritsu, Mio, and Tsumugi. Although disheartened at Yui's lack of musical know-how, they still try to convince her to stay to prevent the club's disbandment. After playing Yui a short piece which reignites her imagination, they succeed in keeping their new member and guitarist. Along with the tasks of school and homework, Yui begins to learn the guitar with the help of the other band members, experiencing many mishaps along the way. However, with the school festival drawing near and Yui getting stuck with her practice, will the Light Music Club be ready in time for their debut? Probably.
Oh, good morning, Yui. Good morning!
Keion isn't exactly a series known for its story, to say the least. It's a slice of life anime, so with these we have the trappings of Kyoto Animation slice of life anime. Anime girls doing things together for friendship, anime girls who play music, ditzy anime girls, and anime girls. So it's at least highly entertaining in the purest form of the word. But there is always something that sets each of Kyoto Animation's anime apart. And while it's not the story here, this has to be the most entertaining of anime they released in the past 10 years. Well, yes, I do love Dragon Maid, and it is so far my favorite anime of 2017. I do have to admit, Keion's story is highly entertaining and edges out Dragon Maid and other Kyoto Animation by just a small margin. As an example, I do like the story of working to a common goal in slice of life anime, and Keion has that. The goal of Keion is for the Light Music Club to successfully perform at the end of the year. So this helps the story for this anime more than it would Sound Euphonium or other Kyoto anime, in my opinion. Usually, slice of life anime are devoid of a straightforward goal, and if they do, it's not integral to the plot. This to me is all well and good, but I'm saying that specifically for this series, it helped it out quite a bit. Moving on to another facet of the story I very much enjoyed was the introduction of a new band member. I for one do enjoy the dynamic of many different people in a band coming together to play music. And while this anime is not realistic in this sense, as it's less democratic and more, well, let's just say one person controls a majority of the direction of a real life band. But the one thing I found very enjoyable was when the new band member joined, there was some good writing and character development there. Instead of just moving on, but with another member of the show, there is a great character moment where Yui puts up a little bit of a front in front of her, but eventually gives in and wants to learn more from Asuka. It wasn't exactly a bright shining moment of the anime, but it was a small touch that really adds up later on when Yui is shredding, absolutely shredding on the guitar.
Starting today, I'm a high schooler!
For the characterizations, it seems the show for the most part is very good at delivering here. Characters speak and act a certain way, but not too predictably, bringing up again Yui's initial front to Asuka. But before, we can really praise this series for its characterizations, because it is still good. There are some things that didn't flow well. I for one didn't like that every character, barring a few, were ditzy anime girls with cute voices. I think Yui's makes sense, and to an extent Tsumugi does as well, but there is never any confidence shift. They never grow out of the ditzy anime girl. And the biggest, most egregious of this is Mio. Her progression to actually singing is pretty good moment, and built up pretty well in the series. Yet, I'm shaking my head when she is still playing up the embarrassing ditzy anime girl. To me, it seemed they were building up Mio as the backbone to the band, which does play into the band dynamic later, but I can't get behind this character of Mio on looks and tits alone. I really need to see some growth from all of these characters, and I just wasn't seeing it in the way I wanted to see it.
It's already been 2 weeks since school started. You have to choose. But I'm absolutely terrible at every sport, and I don't really get any of the literary clubs.
Continuing on, I do want to praise Kyoto and its copious amount of directors. The show is really, really good at giving each character their own personality outside of the ditzy anime girl thing, of course. And here is a cool thing. If you've been around a musician, you know a drummer is a drummer, bass player is a bass player, etc. You can tell who is who without even knowing who they are most of the time. With this anime, oddly enough, each character fits the personality of their instrument. Yui is the brightest character in the anime, so naturally, the guitar is the best instrument to represent that. Another example of this is Mio. She's more mature. She is the backbone and the heartbeat of the band. The bass just so happens to be the most important part of a band. So yeah, this is kinda cool. They didn't just go in with a, well, put the drumsticks on the alternative looking Japanese girl, call it a day. There was actually some really cool thinking here with this, and yes, I loved it as a musician, of course.
This is how people end up becoming mates. Your pet doesn't meet just because you don't join a club.
Okay, here we go. The art for damn near every Kyoto anime is amazing, and you would be insane not to think this anime wouldn't have great art. It's near perfect, with only some backgrounds being incredibly generic. Most backgrounds are pretty solid, especially when playing for a show or in the school. It's not exactly incredibly detailed than even Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, but it's still very pretty and well done. As for the character designs, I enjoy them, but I do find them somewhat generic. I think that was intentional though, as later on they wear more elaborate clothing, but it's still solid. Also like the art designs for the ending credits too. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the whole sex with anime characters thing or the best girl thing, so believe me when I say this, I am pretty sincere, and I think that these designs are incredibly unique and well designed. Also, for being near 10 years in age, I thought this anime actually came out in 2013 or something. That's how good this anime looks.
But I was planning on joining the literature club. I've already filled out the application form.
Alright, here we go for the second time. Here is where my musical knowledge comes into play. I've actually been playing bass for a year, and I've been playing guitar for 10 years. I actually do stream me playing on Twitch, and I do have an album coming out soon. So trust me when I say that everything you see them play on this show is 100% accurate. At least in the scenes where you can make out what they're playing. Here is another cool thing. The guitar, bass, and keyboard in the opening and ending segments are 110% correct to what they actually play in these real-life songs. You wanna know how I know this? Because I fucking learned how to play these songs, bitches. That's right, I'm the greatest anime reviewer ever. Worship me! Also, this show is just really well animated, and the opening song is really hard to play on bass.
Rip.
What do you think you're doing? Oh,
Come on, let's go! Move it! Move it!
cut it out!
Alright, so this script is incredibly solid, but there are just lines here and there that just don't translate well in the English dub. The episode when Azusa is introduced and joins the band, it goes to show how some things didn't translate well at all. That scene and many others are very stilted, and while they're pretty good in the Japanese dub, in the English dub, it comes across as generic and cringy with certain lines, which is something that happens a lot as well. There is just a lot of cringy lines, mostly coming from Mio and Ritsu. But with the nature of the anime and its setting, the script is really good when it comes to musical speak. There isn't a whole lot, and this is probably to keep the script uncluttered. Let's say, for example, here that Yui just so happens to want Ritsu to do a Latin rhythm in 4/4, and she wants Mio to play a jazz funk groove in minor and accent her diminished 7th. Well, that's not exactly good writing, and it confuses everyone who doesn't know what music theory is. But keeping it simple, it was good for the show, and it adds to the show when you realize that, hey, this show does pride itself on little details here and there with the English dub.
It's the useless, clumsy, bad tempo girl! What is it you're doing? You startled me.
Keion on first look is incredibly destructive to your personality. You can't stand it. It just can't possibly exist. But you eventually learn to accept what you've become.
Then you live on with this chip on your shoulder you can never remove. Keion is just really good.
And you can't deny its quality, as it just proves it's a good anime each episode. Sure, you feel
it burning down deep inside you, and you can't help yourself. You have to release it somehow.
and what better way to release your anger than releasing it through the most kawaii desiest anime ever. I mean, the art is really good. It's almost ageless, and the animation makes you want to eat the
Burning coals of a fire you cooked your best friend on.
Keion gets an above average score of a 3 out of 5.
The harmonica! Oh, I have a harmonica right here. Try playing something. I'm sorry, I can't play it.
I released a review. I actually released an anime review, you guys. I am so hyped right now as I'm typing in the page for K-On on my anime list, as I need to talk about some stuff with this anime, of course. Because I didn't even mention the music in the actual review, because the review was going on for way long. I think unedited right now it's sitting at 15 minutes currently. It's probably going to be around 10 minutes, 11 minutes when you see this. But I liked K-On, and I know you guys are not gonna like me liking K-On, because there's a lot of people out there that hate K-On, and I can understand some of it. I really can. But after watching season 1, I kinda like K-On. I kinda like K-On. It on face value, it didn't really impress me. Once I started really diving in and really dissecting and really looking at what the anime had to offer and progressing through the story naturally, of course, I found that it was fun. It was fun. It wasn't the greatest anime ever. Of course, I gave it above average score of a 3 out of 5, so I mean, it's got something to it if I'm giving it an above average score. I mean, that's a very good score for me. So, this anime, I think, if you skipped on it because of this or that, because you heard from a friend, and you just watch it. Just watch it. Just watch the full thing. Just watch it. I ensure you that you will have a fun time. You will like the series if you just watch it with an open mind. Because I'm on this new kind of kick with anime where, to stop myself from burning out, I'm just watching stuff. Like, I'm just watching anime that I want to watch. And I want to watch different anime right now. So I just, on a whim, was like, I want to watch Keion. And I don't know what made me want to watch Keion. It just popped up in my head one day. I was like, oh, Keion. But I'm glad I did. Because I really enjoyed the anime. But I want to talk about the music for a moment. Because I didn't mention it in the body of the review, the actual review. So in the discussion section, I do want to mention the music. And I want to say that scoring-wise, I did not enjoy it. I did not enjoy it. I just thought it was too much music, to be honest. And this was a problem with I think, Love and Lies, Koi to Uso. If you watch my first impressions on that, from last Friday, you will know that I thought the copious amounts of music really hurt the experience. And I think that was a problem in K-On as well. I don't think to the extent Koi to Uso does, or a lot of other really dramatic, or really, I'm not really dramatic, but I can't even think of a word to describe it. More soap opera-ish anime, I guess. Anime that use an overabundance of score to rely to. It's just, to me, it's really lazy when people use score, and this show didn't need this much scoring. The voice acting was good enough. The script was good enough on its own to really have a almost minimalist score. I think some of the places the scoring was in was great, but I think it was diminished a little bit by the constant use of score all the time. I think this is definitely this by far, scoring wise, is the worst Kyoto Animation series to have this problem. I mean, I can't think of another Kyoto Animation series to have this problem. I really can't. Sound Euphonium has a lot of scoring. It's not as bad as this, in my opinion. I think this really took it down a notch for me in my final scoring. It's something I notice immediately all the time, and I just go, I notice the music, this is too much music. Why is it still playing? And why is it so dramatic? What is the point of this? This is not getting this across. And now I'm out of the anime. Now my suspension of disbelief is broken, and now I have to rewatch this scene. And it's a problem that happens all the time in anime. It's just, I don't know why. I guess it's an anime thing. I guess it's a cultural thing, but it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Even in a different culture, I can't see that working. I just can't. It's just too much for me. As for the actual songs, I hit and miss. I didn't really like the vocals. Now, I'm not saying the vocals weren't performed well. I think the best vocally performed song I've listened to off the soundtrack, and yes, by God, there is a soundtrack. In fact, there are albums. There are albums, my friends, and I listened to them. I listened to them, not because I'm a weeb, but because I was legitimately curious. Apparently, the voice actors formed a kind of a pop group in Japan. Let's see, I have it right here, the voice actors are, and it's all the girls in the show in the band. They actually formed a group. I assume because they were so successful with this anime that they just had to cash in, and of course the girls were just like, hey, I want some of that yin, and they took the check and the job. I would too, if I was as good as singing as these girls are, and as musically talented, and was told, hey, you probably don't have to write any of this music, you don't have to really do any of the hard work, you just gotta show up and perform what we tell you to perform, with little, I don't know, impressions on the actual music. You just gotta come and record. I'd be like, hell yeah, tell me what to play, how much am I getting paid? You know, I would, that seems to me like an easy gig. If you can do it, why not? That's just the way the industry works, especially in Japan. It's very much similar to that of America. But the voice actors are Aki Toyosaki, Yoko Hisaka, Satomi Sato, and Minaka Kotobuki. And they formed a group, and they don't play any instruments. There's no way they'd play these instruments. That would be too weird for like this pop group to do. I don't think that's a thing that happens in Japan that much, where it's like, oh, these girls can actually also play their instruments. I think the only other band I can think of that does that and plays music like this music, while they're not technically very technical, is Scandal. Scandal is very super generic. They're not that bad. They're cool, I guess. Their earlier stuff is very much different from their later stuff. Their later stuff is more popish. I haven't listened to them that much, so don't quote me on that. They're a solid band, but I think that, what was the band called? Wait, no, it doesn't tell what band they form. It's something Tea Time. Hokago Tea Time. It looks, yep, Hokago Tea Time. Sorry if I got that wrong. Going by information on this, what's on the site it's giving me. It could be completely wrong, as I think my anime list is a wiki site, so could be wrong. Yeah, I don't know what I was saying. So yeah, they formed a band, and I do like those songs more than the score. I think musically speaking, whatever people they got to perform on these songs, not just, well, my Xbox, okay, what's up? Not just vocally, I'm not trying to diss the vocals, like I said earlier. It's very, very good vocalage. But the instrumentation is incredibly unique and really good. Incredibly talented people played these instruments for this song, did the instrumentation. And I think that, really, we should be praising those guys, because they are the people that killed it. Like, I have the same problem with baby metal, where everyone's like, oh, the three girls are the greatest people ever, they're the reason why baby metal is good. Sure, they're a big part of it. They're the face of baby metal, and they're the voice. Voices are replaceable, and you can go without the face. It doesn't matter, as long as the voice is intact, and the voice, like I said, is replaceable. But the thing that is always important is the instrumentation. Who's making it? Who made the stuff? Who laid down the drum track? Who did this and that? And how did they do it? What nuances do they have in their playing? And did they have an injury in their hand that makes them play something differently, so it's more unique sounding? It's a lot of that kind of thing that makes this kind of all the more impressive than just a bunch of cute girls doing vocals on a rock track. But that's my opinion on the scoring. I could not fit it in the review, so I just kind of got whatever was on my mind, and I talked about it. As overall, like I said, I really love Keion. Well, love, maybe not love. I really enjoyed Keion, and if you haven't already, give it a shot. It's only like 10 episodes, 14 episodes maybe. It's like, just watch the first 3 episodes. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, stop watching. It's fine. It should not harm you in the least. It's Kyoto Animation. If you like the Inuyasha movies, if you like Chunibyo, if you especially like Chunibyo, you'll like this. If you like Sound Euphonium, you'll maybe like this. It depends. very different anime, all things considered, even though they have pretty much the same premise. Or if you like Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, which is fan-freaking-tastic, you will probably actually like K-On, because as they're between Sound Euphonium and K-On, comparing that to Miss Dragon Maid, probably the most similar in style. But that's all I got. Like I said, gave K-On a 3 out of 5. That's an above average rating on my rating scale. So if you don't know what the rating scale, go check in the description. And if you haven't already subscribe to me, consider it. Give this video a thumbs up or a follow, considering on what platform you're watching. And follow me on VidMe as well. Follow me on Twitter too. And make sure to click on my suggested videos over on the right side of the video screen. You should see something from me. Click on something. It helps out to click through. Other than that, comment down in the YouTube comment section what you thought about K-On. Do you agree with me? Do you not? I'm curious to know. What's your thoughts about Hokago Tea Time? I already forgot the name. Yeah. Have a good day, guys. I'll see you later.